G'day guys, Aaron here from Shooting Stuff Australia, and today I have one of my favourite rifles of all time, and that is a Sauer. Now this is their new Atacama. This is chambered in 223, and it's one hell of a beautiful rifle. It has their soft touch stock, it's very firm, and it's coated in desert camo. The barrel is 22 inches long, and the barrel and the receiver is Cerakoted. So I've topped this off with the Sig Sauer Bdx Scope. This is the 6.5 220, the range finding scope. The trigger is very crisp, but like all Sauers, beautiful. It's adjustable from 2.2 pounds to 4.2 pounds. I've tested this one, and from the factory it has come out at 2.2. That's the sort of weight I do like for my hunting rifles. I don't really like them any lighter than that, but it is a very, very nice trigger. And the bolt's very smooth, just like the 308 that I reviewed. I've also just put on my Atlas bipod with the Bushnell feet. This comes in at around the $1,300 mark. So if it's anything like the 308, I definitely think this will be an awesome rifle. So let's just get out there and give it a go. I've got a few rounds here of 223, and I've got some hunting loads that I made several years ago. So we'll see how they run. I started off with the Hornady Tap. Now I've had really, really good results with this stuff. I've shot them out of a lot of 223s lately, and they've all produced really good results. So it's a 60 grain projectile, and it's travelling at 3,084 feet a second. And it came in at a 6.5 millimeter group. Then I moved over to the Buffalo River. Now this did surprise me, because I normally get half MOA groups with this stuff. It's just such an accurate round, but it came in at a 19 millimeter group. It could have just been me behind the rifle, but every other gun I've used this in has always produced good results. So it is travelling at 3,220 feet a second, and it's running a 55 grain projectile. And now this one really did surprise me. This is just a bolt pack. This is a Hornady steel match. It's a steel cased round, and it's travelling at 3,240 feet a second. And I got a 9mm group. I've had a few varied sort of results from this, from good to bad with this ammo, but this time it worked really well. So the next two loads are my hand loads. I made this years and years ago. In fact, it was some of the first rounds I ever reloaded for. So I wasn't really expecting very good results. So this is running the zombie rounds, the 55 grain projectiles, and it came in at a 35 millimeter group. And the final grouping was the Hornady bulk back projectiles. Now these are just a 55 grain soft point, and it quite surprised me with the first 3 rounds pretty much hitting each other. So I was happy about that, and it did actually surprise me because like the zombie loads, I haven't really had very good grouping with them. And then just a couple of flyers. So that did come in at a 24mm group. Although it got the 1 inch as well. So overall I'm pretty damn happy with this, and I do think once I've used my hand loads up and got rid of those, I'll just be switching over to this tap ammo because it has worked so well through so many different guns I've used it in. But I've got to say, I have become a Sauer fanboy. I never thought I'd be a fanboy of anything, but this shot wonderfully. This is the 4th Sauer I've shot, and the other 3 worked absolutely flawlessly, just like this. The bolt on this is ultra smooth, and the trigger just crisp. It breaks very nicely. The gun felt so nice as well. The soft touch finish on the synthetic stock is beautiful. So it was a 223, so there wasn't really any kick to it at all, and it just worked so well. Everything I pointed at, it went down. I was happy with all the groups. This is a hunting rifle, not a target rifle, so this will perform extremely well out in the field. Now the price, now this comes in at around the $1,200 to $1,300 mark, but if you don't want the camo, it's about $1,000 bucks, $900 to $1,000. And I tell you what, compared to other European brands which are way overpriced for what they are, this beats them all. This really is priced right, works right, feels nice. Everything about this is perfect. So guys, if you're after a good hunting rifle, this one's in 223, but you can see the review I did on the Sauer 308. That's also a $1,000 rifle. Definitely take a look at the Sauer range. Thanks guys. G'day guys, Aaron here, and today I have a Savage Axis chamber in 308. It comes with a 20-inch stainless steel barrel and a 4-round box magazine. It's definitely an entry-level gun. In the US, this is pretty much just a Walmart gun, about $300 odd, but being Australia, we're looking at around $800 to $900 for one of these. I topped it off with a Bushnell Engage 6 to 24. I know it's an overkill, but it's the only spare scope I had at the time. It's very light, very light, and when I bring it up, it's extremely front heavy because there's no weight in the back. So it doesn't really feel all that balanced to me. The trigger is just ultra heavy, ultra heavy. That's probably the worst feature I'd say. The bolt's smooth, but the trigger is very heavy on this. And the only thing I've really noticed about it is there's heaps of flex in the stock. Like we got like a millimetre or so before it touches, and very easily it's just rubbing and touching on the stock the barrel is. So I'll tighten the screws up just to make sure everything's all nice and firm, and we'll get out there and give this a go. Thanks guys. Okay, we're just going to try a couple of different brands here at 100 metres, see how she groups. Such a heavy trigger on this. I mean, it's real heavy. Not exactly made for fine precision work, I don't think. This has always been pretty damn good in a lot of rifles. Okay, so no surprise here. The Winchester, about a 6-inch group, and the Gecko, just a tad over a 1-inch group. Yeah, it's definitely a very heavy trigger, so yeah, you've got to be real mindful of that so you don't pull off target. But I was taking my time, and this is the results we got. Since the Gecko performed the best at 100 metres, thought I'd try the last of the ammunition out at 200 on the gong. Okay, at about 200 metres, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's just about a hand-sized group, nothing too fancy there. So what did I think of this? Well, not much, to be quite honest with you. The recoil pad here didn't exactly do a hell of a lot. It was pretty brutal to shoot off the bench. Accuracy wise, not the best at all. At 100 metres, I did try and sight in with several different brands, and they just weren't working. So the Winchester and the Gecko were the only two that sort of really got close to it, so I just went with those for the actual group test. I tried the Highland, and it just light striked every single Highland round I had. I quickly put it through my hunting rifle, and it shot perfect. So yeah, accuracy wise, it's not exactly the best gun out there. It is extremely light, so you do feel that punch in it. It's just, yeah, you can see why they're only like $300 overseas. They are just a Walmart gun, nothing too fancy. Sort of gun that you just have out, take out and use every now and then, and wouldn't really care if it got rattled up and damaged much at all. They're not really made for target shooting or extreme accuracy, I don't think. Like this one, the screws just fell out. And I've only put like 30 shots through this. So there it is. I would, to be honest, I would not recommend this at all. If you want an entry-level gun, spend a little bit of extra money and get something a bit better built. Nothing really worked well on this at all. Screws fell out, couldn't group. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just would not recommend a Savage Access to anyone at all. There's not really much I can say about this apart from I'm just not impressed with it at all. Thanks a lot.